I live in Wallingford. It's this really homey neighborhood. Lots of small houses with families, kids, cats. Uh, but my huge kick has been trying to get people to move their gardens, vegetable gardens, from their backyard to their front yard. Seems like a small thing, but when we did it, it made a huge impact on my experience with my neighbors and my community. It used to be when I would work in my after work, I'd get off work, and I might go putter in my garden, or dig in the vegetables, do whatever, um, and I'd be alone back there, isolated. I've spent 20 years in this neighborhood, and for the first 18 years, I didn't know the people who lived two doors down from me in either direction. I moved my vegetable garden out front, and now when people walk by, I chat with them, all of them, right? Because they're all going back to their homes, they're going up to the grocery store. Um, I get off work, I go out, and maybe I'm doing some weeding, I'm working in the garden, and someone walks by, they're walking their dog. I stop and I have a conversation with them. I get to find out, oh, it turns out that my kid wants to feed their dog carrots. The dog liked carrots. Okay, now we have this conversation. We joke about it for weeks afterwards. Um, and, you know, maybe there's something going on in their life that I can talk to them about, or they're moving and they need some help, and I offer to help. Those kinds of serendipitous interactions are what form the bonds of a community, and what make you know your neighbors and make a neighborhood. Um, and I think that can only happen with that kind of persistent peripheral awareness. There's kind of regular interactions that you have with people every day that aren't necessarily structured. It's not going to a meeting, it's not signing up for a list. It's just seeing someone's face every day and saying hi to them and saying, how are you doing? And getting an answer that's more than just fine. It's maybe they'll tell you what they're doing. Um, and I think for working in a neighborhood, it's the same thing. I don't want to work in a neighborhood where I just drive to a parking garage and, I go to my building, and then, when it's time to eat lunch, I go to a cafeteria, or maybe I drive to a restaurant and do the same thing, and then I go home and I park in my parking garage and I take my elevator up to my apartment. I want to work in a neighborhood where I walk to the coffee shop, and I walk to the copy center, and I walk to the restaurants, and every one of those places that I'm walking to and I'm going to, I'm having interactions with people that are meaningful in small ways, but that aggregate into a relationship. So I see the same person every day, and I can see, hey, what's going on today? You seem a little down. Or, how you doing? They say, I'm doing great. Why? Why are you doing great? And we have this conversation that helps me build a relationship with them. It helps me build um, a sense of connection with them that, well, that form a community, and that make my experience of living in that neighborhood more valuable and more powerful. So, whether it's moving your vegetable garden out front, or choosing a workspace that allows you or forces you to have interactions with people every day, it's choosing a lifestyle in a neighborhood where you get to have those interactions is what makes the neighborhood a neighborhood. It makes it a community because you're having conversations with people and building relationships with people every day. So for me, that's the kind of place that I want to live in.